Otherwise, the devotee is always situated in transcendental position because they're always serving. So Prabhupada quotes the verse from 14:26 Bhagavad Gita. Sagunan samiptaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Very famous. Mam chayo vibhacharya. Brahma bhakti yogina sevita. So in the next paragraph, he highlights about the Omkara. In the middle of the paragraph, Prabhupada says there's no difference between the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, and Omkara, Pranava. We should be careful to understand that Omkara does not indicate anything Nirakara or formless. Omkara is a sound representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Omkara is not meant to be impersonal. That's why we say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Meant to be impersonal. That's why we say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. But generally the Mayavadis think it is impersonal. But here you can see in the prayers, the word he uses is Purushaya. Purushaya. That means onto the person. Who, which person? The Supreme Person. Adi Bijaya, who is the origin or root cause of everything. So he makes it very clear that it is a person. So it is indicative of a person. Okay. So the Supreme Person can be addressed by the Omkara Pranava. Okay. And in the last sentence of that paragraph, Prabhupada says, Pareshaya means Parameshvara. Or Brahma and Lord Shiva are Ishvaras, great controllers, but Lord Vishnu is Parameshvara, the supreme controller. Right? Main idea is not to get confused, thinking Om is just a sound vibration, it has no depth. It's just a representation of the Lord in the sound. Eh? Like yesterday we were thinking Nama Namino, like that. No difference between the name and the person. Okay. 6.3. You will see oftentimes Prabhupada wants to make it very clear that the Lord is a person. There's a tendency for us to forget that. And when we think he's a person, then there's a tendency to think he's like us. So therefore he's always emphasizing not to fall into that trap exactly. Or Maya. What is the last thing? Snare of Maya? I am God. Yeah. So we have to always be careful. Even when we get frustrated in our attempts to do something, and then we like, what is this? We should be very careful. Say, no, the Supreme Lord knows what is good for me. Yeah. So which is what we're seeing in the prayer of Gajendra. He understands whatever he's going through is actually for his own benefit. He understands I'm suffering now. There's only one person in the world who can help me like that. And he attempts to pray to that person. Text 3. Yashminidam yataschedam yenadam yaidam swayam yosmad parasmaschaparas tam prapadye swayam bhuvam. The Supreme Godhead is the supreme platform on which everything rests. The ingredient by which everything has been produced, and the person who has created and is the only cause of this cosmic manifestation. Nonetheless, he is different from the cause and the result. I surrender unto him, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is self-sufficient in everything. Just like he says, right? What is that verse? Sutrim Mani Kana. Right? Like the pearl strung in the thread. You can't see the thread. You think, how is the pearl just staying there sometimes? Huh? Little children will think, how is it floating? So we are like that. Everything is resting on Him, and yet we cannot understand that and we may not appreciate that. Again, Srila Prabhupada wants us to understand, and he quotes the Bhagavad Gita verse, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat abhyakta murtini. Everything rests upon my energy. Right? Everything. So he's making it very clear. Okay? And then he quotes the Shruti mantra, Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisham vishanti. The original cause of everything is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and after being annihilated, everything enters into Him. Prakritim yanti mamikam. Okay. So then, of course, the famous Brahma Samhita verse is Brahma himself says everything, he is the cause of everything. Sarva karana. Karana. Yeah. So Prabhupada ends by saying the Lord is the cause for everything, but there is no cause for him. Anadi, Adi. Okay. What does Anadi Adi means?
He has no beginning, but he is the beginning of it.
No beginning.
Adi,
but he is always there.
The beginning.
Always existing. Like that. And therefore there is no cause for him. Why is it difficult for many people to accept that?
Because they see cause for everything.
They see cause. In the material world, there is a cause, an effect, and an end. So, due to our conditioning, we want to see that.
Same model.
Yeah.
Try to fit in the same model.
Yeah. Although he is everything, his personality is different from the cosmic manifestation. So this is the Achinta Beda Abheda Tattva again. And Prabhupada says he is the cause of everything. Sarvam Kalau Idam Brahma. Like that. Text 4. Yaswamanidam nijamaya yarpitam.
Yaswamanidam nijamaya yarpitam.
Vachit
Vivadam kochatatiroditam.
Aviddadrikshakshi uvayam tarikshate. The personality of Godhead, by expending his own energy, keeps this cosmic manifestation visible and again sometimes renders it invisible. He is both the supreme cause and the supreme result, the observer and the witness in all circumstances. Thus, the transcendent personality of Godhead give me protection. So, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada again mentions how Krishna has so many different types of energies. So, he uses that for creation and for many other things. Okay. Text 5. Kalena panchattvamitesu krishnasho.
Kalena panchattvamitesu krishnasho.
Lokeshu paleshu chatarvahetushu.
Lokeshu paleshu chatarvahetushu.
Namastadasi gahanam kabiram.
Namastadasi gahanam kabiram.
Yastasya pare vivirajate vibhu.
Yastasya pare vivirajate vibhu.
Due cause of time and all the causative and effective manifestations of the universe, including the planets and the directors and maintainers, are annihilated. There's a situation of dense darkness. Above this darkness, however, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I take shelter of his lotus feet. Okay. He's the most supreme. So in the purport, Prabhupada writes, when everything disappears by the influence of his energy, the cosmic situation is one of dense darkness. Okay? It is only because of the Lord you can see. Otherwise, it is all dark. So just like in this universe creation, it is dark. You can see it's covered by 8 layers of elements, each universe. Completely dark. Even Even the corner of the spiritual world is where the material creation is all. The Mahatattva, the Pradhan is. It is also dark. It's only when the Lord comes in, He is self-effulgent. From His Brahma Jyoti, the sun is derived in this material universe. That's what we can see.
It's like coconut shell.
Yeah, otherwise you can't see anything. Just imagine there's no fire, no electricity. Right? It's dark. You'll go crazy. So whenever He's not around, it's just dark. The Supreme Lord, however, is the sunshine, as confirmed the Vedic mantras. Aditya Varnam Tamasa Varasta. In our daily experience, when we are on earth, in the darkness of night, the sun is always luminous somewhere in the sky. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Sun, always remains luminous, even when the entire cosmic manifestation is annihilated in the due course of time. So the material world, even if it's destroyed, He still remains effulgent. So it's not dependent on anything material. Everything is coming from text 6. Nayasya devaristum
Jatu gunamkorhati gantumiritum
yatanatasya kritibi vichastato.
Yatanatasya.
An artist on stage being covered by attractive dresses and dancing with different movements is not understood by his audience. Similarly, the activities and features of the supreme artist cannot be understood even by the demigods or great sages, and certainly not by those who are unintelligent like animals. Neither the demigods and sages nor the unintelligent can understand the features of the Lord, nor can they express in words His actual position. When you go up on a stage and you put on a dress and so on, sometimes you are dressing like that, right? People cannot identify. So the Lord is like that. A lot of times people don't know who He is. So Prabhupada says a similar understanding was expressed by Kunti Devi. So she also says, Nato natyadaro yata. Exactly as an actor, dressed as a player who is not recognized. She says that in 1.8.19, I believe. And in the Prabhupada continues explaining like there are many yogis trying to find the Supreme Lord. Dhyana vastita taddatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginaha. Nonetheless, even great yogis, demigods, saints and sages have been unable to understand the bodily features of that great artist, nor could they understand the meaning of his movements. So the Lord is not easily understood, not at all, unless He reveals Himself, gives His mercy, either directly or through spiritual master or devotees like that. He is actually impossible to understand. So on the beginning stage, right, no one can really understand Him unless He allows you to understand. That's His mercy, causeless mercy. So Prabhupada says, therefore, we must accept the statements given by the Supreme when He kindly incarnates to instruct us. Speculating, so you can't really understand Him. Then Bahunam Janmanam Manti Jnanamam Mam Prabhadanti. It takes a long time to come to some conclusion.
The purpose is because we have 4 defects.
Yes, we have 4 defects also. Yeah. So we must simply accept the word of Lord Ramachandra, Lord Krishna, and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in their footsteps. Then we can understand Him. And we can understand Him. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naitima vriti. So you understand means in your heart you truly will surrender. That's what it is. And then Prabhupada continues, if by the Lord's grace one can understand Him, then you are delivered. Okay. And then if you can understand Him, what happens is there's a change in your heart or consciousness. Therefore, you will only do activities connected to Krishna.
Pleasing.
So therefore, that is important. And that's what will happen to all of us when we understand what our relationship with Him is. And then whatever activities takes place, Prabhupada says, with the body will be activities of Krishna consciousness. Okay. So this is important. Nice purport. Text 7. Didrikshavo yasya padam sumangalam
Didrishavo yasya padam sumangalam
Vimukta sangha munaya susadava
Vimukta sangha munaya susadhava
Charantya loka vratam avranam vane Vratam avranam vane
Charatya loka ratamavranuvane
Bhutatma bhuta surita samegati
Bhutatma bhuta surya samekati
Ancients and great sages who see all living beings equally, who are friendly to everyone, and who flawlessly practice in the forest the vows of brahmacharya, vanaprastha, and sannyas, desire to see the all auspicious lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. May that same Supreme Personality of Godhead be my destination. Okay, here you see qualifications for devotees or someone in a Prabhupada says highly elevated in spiritual consciousness. So they practice what? Brahmacharya, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas very strictly. And they see everyone equal. Pandita Samadarshana. Meaning they see everyone as a spirit soul. Particularly they are all part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Can we do that? That is something we have to think about. Can I do that? It's not easy because we tend to want to enjoy material energy. As soon as we do that, we want to think we are better than someone. So it's very hard to be in that category unless we are always practicing all this brahmacharya, the rules and regulations very strictly. Right, the Supreme Lord is the friend of everyone. Prabhupada quotes from the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Suridam Sarva Bhutana. So when we know that the Supreme Lord is a friend of everyone, so naturally we will also treat everyone in a friendly manner. Yeah. Has to be, because if the Lord likes all of them, why am I not liking them? Consciously you will have to think like that. You cannot say, I'm different from the Lord. Yeah, you can say like that, but if the Lord likes them, who am I not to like them? What is my problem with them? So one has to think, analyze, and maybe in this life you cannot like, sometimes it's like that, you may not like someone. Right? So then you just tolerate those people. I've heard of devotees saying, no, I cannot forgive this person, no. Then we would say, but then you cannot go back to God. I don't care, I cannot forgive.
Even if I don't go back, it's okay.
Yeah,
Like that.
so then you can understand that there's so much disturbed or hurt.
You think Krishna is also maybe upset with them?
Yeah, they think like that how can Krishna forgive them for what they did to me? Yeah, so but they don't understand Suridam Sarva Bhutanam, what it means actually. Yeah. He is supremely kind and merciful, and unless they are very offensive, then there is some reason to think otherwise. Otherwise, no. Even if they commit offense, he will only take them away for rectification. Still, he will bring them. He's Suridam Sarva Bhutanam because he's always with them in the heart. Even they go through all kinds of nonsense, he never abandons them. What kind of friend, right? Yeah. Most of our friends will say, okay, we'll see you. See you later. So that is why it's very important to understand the Lord. So similarly, devotees must come to that level. If we are very Krishna conscious, we also will see people as friends. Even if they don't see us as friends, we are their well-wishers. All right? And so, making no distinction between one nation and another or one community and another, they preach Krishna consciousness, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita everywhere. Remember, when we preach Krishna consciousness, we're not trying to defeat anyone. Okay? We're just trying to give them the understanding of that they are servants of the Supreme Lord. It's not like, oh yeah, I defeated this guy. No, sometimes when you defeat, the person will feel so embarrassed they don't come to the temple. Yeah. Or take up the procession. It's not like that. Right? So when you preach in a way that becomes favorable, then you become competent to see the lotus feet of the Lord. You get some points to see the lotus feet. And then Prabhupada says, and this is also very important, sannyasis and so on. So externally we can't see them to be advanced or anything. We see them bodily, we see them, we don't like what they say and so on. But they are very competent because they are giving people Krishna. And because they are preaching with that desire, they are actually Paramahamsas. Yeah.
I was going with my Guru Maharaj from Moscow to Slovenia. So on the flight, there was one author on the side sitting next to Maharaj. So I was on the window seat, Maharaj for some reason was in the middle seat, and he was sitting next to me. So he said, "You are an author, this, that." And somehow or the other connected Bhagavad Gita with authorship and how you can get ideas through a book. Like that, within a short span of 30-minute flight, all the messages have been communicated.
Yeah, so that's why they are Paramahamsas.
So we can do a lot actually.
Yeah. What is our intent in this matter? We should take shelter of such devotees so that they will bless us to see the lotus feet of Krishna. Texts 8 and 9. Na vidyate yasya cha janma karma va
Na vidyate yasya cha janma karma va
nanama rupe guna dosha eva va
Nanama rupe guna dosha eva va
tatapi lokapyaya sambhavaya ya
Tatapi lokapyaya sambhavaya
samaya yatani anukalam richati
Samaya yatani anukalam richati
tasmai namah pareshaya
Tasmai namaha pareshaya
brahmani nanta shaktaye
Brahmane nanda shaktaye
rupaya
Arupaya rupaya
namascharya karmani.
Namascharya karmane
The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no material birth, activities, name, form, qualities, or faults. To fulfill the purpose for which this material world is created and destroyed, he comes in the form of a human being like Lord Rama or Lord Krishna by his original internal potency. He has immense potency, and in various forms, all free from material contamination, he acts wonderfully. He is therefore the Supreme Brahman. I offer my respects to him. Okay. So when the understanding Srila Prabhupada writes, Arupaya means no material. Okay, so therefore no material birth, no material activities, no material name, no material form, no material qualities or faults. Right? You have to understand like that. Otherwise you will think, oh, he has no name, no form. No, it's all spiritual. So what is that purpose that he has created this material world? Huh? To fulfill the purpose for which this material world is created is to rectify us. Yeah. Okay, so once you go through a certain number of period of desires, you still have desires, so in the next life, he again indicates to you, you wanted this desire.
Do you still want?
Yeah. Why didn't you fulfill it? And then we will take it up like that.
Not one Maharaj, there are thousands of desires.
Yeah.
Keep on coming.
Usually one at a time. Yeah. Yeah. So again, from the Vishnu personality God, he has no material form, qualities, or faults. He is spiritual and is the only reservoir of all spiritual qualities. Of course, like someone was saying, he comes to protect his devotees and to get rid of the disturbing demons. Like that. And Prabhupada says, anyone annihilated, this is important, this section, anyone annihilated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead gets the same result as a devotee who's protected by the Lord. Now, before you go, what? You first just continue reading. Both of them are transcendentally promoted. The only difference is that a devotee goes directly to the spiritual planets and becomes an associate of the Supreme Lord, whereas demons are promoted to Brahmaloka, the impersonal effulgence of the Lord. Both of them, however, are transcendentally promoted. The Lord's killing or annihilating of the demons is not exactly like the killing of this material world. Although he appears to act within the modes of material nature, he is nirguna, above the modes of nature. His name is not material. Otherwise, how could one get liberation by chanting Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama?
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Okay, so it's a very nice discussion by Prabhupada. Very straightforward. We don't even have to discuss that.
But here also, I'm still wondering that how when the Lord annihilates the demon gets promoted.
Yeah.
The mentality of the demon is still contaminated.
All his sinful nature, everything is taken away by the Lord.
That's the mercy.
Yes. And then he gets promoted to only the effulgence.
Yes.
And then after some time they'll come down again. And that's where they are, as you say, if their desire not to surrender to Krishna comes again, then they become again full nonsense. Yeah. Or sometimes they get the opportunity to take birth in Brahman's family like that to at least get some elevation. But as you pointed out, right, if the consciousness is not still pure, then they will pursue. Right? Yeah.
Because all the intelligent people, they're all in these top corporations.
Yeah.
They got the intelligent birth because of some Sukruti.
Yeah, but then they don't, or maybe they didn't get the opportunity to meet a devotee yet. So therefore, maybe you should send some books to all these people and see. Right or not? And then after they don't take, then you know this demon. Anyway, what can you do? Now, Prabhupada gives the example of this chanting of the name. He gives the example of Ajamil, how he gets liberated also. So if Ajamil can simply chant, and then get liberated, and Prabhupada says, even though he was doing so many things, he always remained transcendental to his activities, simply by chanting the name Narayana. Okay. So what is said, what he is trying to compare is, just imagine who the Lord himself is. If his name can deliver someone like Ajamil, just imagine who he is.
Prabhu, how can his activities be remain transcendental? He was so sinful at that 80 years of age, right?
From an external point of view, yes. But because he kept chanting Narayana in Namabhas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so every time it gets clear, right?
Cleans it.
He wasn't chanting,
He got another birth and
he wasn't doing
so,
consciously. So it wasn't an offense against the holy name. Understand?
But the same
What was he not doing consciously? The
Sinful
sinful
activities.
activities. Okay.
No, the chanting of the holy name.
Okay.
name he's not chanting simply.
Yeah. He isn't thinking, I will chant the name to purify, like that. So therefore, like in the old days, as even Rantidev Prabhu was saying, like the grandparents and great grandparents, every time they sit down, they'll say Narayana or Ram Ram or this, yeah. So therefore, and then you find also like they are not as sinful also. Yeah. Yeah, purified consciousness is correct.
But then Prakrija Sahajiyas are also continuously chanting,
Yeah,
but they are not really
they
serious.
also, if the holy name is so powerful, it has some effect. Yeah. But if you, seventh offense, right?
No.
Commit sinful activities on the
Commits
strength of
on the
chanting
strength
of
of chanting the holy name. So then you won't get any effect. So when the Lord comes into the material world, Prabhupada says he does not become a product of matter. Okay, it's only foolish people think like that, and therefore they think he is common man. And Prabhupada quotes the famous verse, "Avajananti mam tha manusim tanum asham." They think I am ordinary, but he is not ordinary. You should never consider the Lord to be ordinary. When the Lord comes, he does so on the basis of his spiritual potency. Sambhavami Atma Maya. Because he's not forced to come by the material energy, he's always transcendental. One should not consider the Supreme Lord an ordinary human being. Material names and forms are contaminated, but spiritual name and spiritual form are transcendental. Okay. So who's doing this prayer? Gajendra. And where is this happening? Without looking,
In the higher planetary?
in Trikuta mountain. Which lake?
Manasarovar?
See, I work on so many different names. Rituma. Rituma.
Rituma.
Now, who owns this place?
Varuna.
Varuna. Yes. Which Manvantara? Tamasa. Who is the number?
4.
4. Who's before him?
Sarvachas.
His brother Uttama. Who's before Uttama? Swarochisa. Who's the first one? Okay. And then who's the sixth? Chakshusha. Seventh? Vaivastama.
That is where we are now.
And we are in Vaivastama. Okay, just wanted to see.
Everybody's awake.
Everybody's awake. So this prayer that who's asking to know about this pastime?
Parikshit.
Parikshit Maharaj. Who will come and save Gajendra?
Hari.
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 His name is Hari.
Incarnation of Hari.
In
Text
fact,
10.
Prabhu, talking of this, yesterday only I was thinking, maybe you can answer. 2015 South India Yatra, when you went to Madurai, I think Mataji was there.
We were not there in Madurai, right? No.
Yeah, but I think they
No, my wife was
mentioned that there is a lake from where they were, and that is where this pastime happened. And I was thinking, how is that possible? Because this is on the Trikuta mountain in upper planetary system, and something in Madurai, they say there is a lake where this Gajendra Moksha happened.
It's possible, I do not know the pastime.
Because they reflect, right?
Could be
Those
different
things.
millenniums.
Zoom in here.
Then nursing
Could
in
be
the
in-
also, for past time also they say it's not happening.
Yeah,
This.
in this
Right,
particular
it happened
age,
in Indras, right? And my Prabhupada says the way they worship.
Well, it's just like Vrindavan, the facsimile of the spiritual world is here. So it's possible. I do not know the pastime. Maybe you can find out more since you are asking this.
A lot of these things happen in higher planetary
Higher
systems,
planetary
but some reflection is there here.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
Otherwise, how
that's
would
what
we
I
know?
mean. Yeah. So maybe there's something could be. This says pastimes may be very similar. They come in cyclical. So maybe in one cycle it could have happened here. Like possible. I do not know. I'm speculating now. Text 10. Namatma Pradipaya Sakshine Paramatmane
Sakshine Paramatmane
Namo Giram Viduraya
Namo Viram Viduraya
Manasascetasam Api.
Manasascetasamapi.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the self-effulgent Super Soul, who is the witness in everyone's heart, who enlightens the individual soul and who cannot be reached by exercises of the mind, words, or consciousness. So he is in the heart of every living entity. Okay. And then from him comes the understanding. What is that verse?
Mukta Smriti Gnana
Okay, you can say that.
Apohanam.
What's the other one where he guides you?
Yesham Tatata
Tesam satatam
Satatam
yuktam.
Tadam Buddham Namam Apyanchati.
Like that. Okay, so here Prabhupada says, by the grace of Supreme Personality of Godhead, that the individual soul is enlightened. Therefore, the Lord is described here as Atma Pratipa. Okay, he enlightens the soul. Yeah. One cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by one's mental, physical, or intellectual powers. So no way you cannot for a moment think I will understand, right? Which is what happens to many of us when we are practicing. Or I will just chant very nicely and I will realize. No, it has to be through mercy by the Lord or through His devotees.
Usually through his
Brahma
devotees.
Samhita, Tankastu Koti Satavatra Sambram Gambyo Vayu Tatmanaso Nipugavana.
Nipungavanam.
So Piasti Prapada Samniya Vichunta Tattve.
Yeah.
They can't even.
They cannot understand even if they study the Vedas.
Yeah.
Like that.
1 year.
15 days.
15 days, huh? For you.
I'm just throwing a number, right? It could be 6 months also.
Advance.
Huh?
Very
Yeah,
advanced.
right. You're getting some 15 days, 6 months. Anyway. Yeah, well, yeah, it's true. He gives reflections. Chaya. Not full, but reflections that enables us to want more of that kind of desire. And so we take up seriously. But again, because at the moment, many of us have a tendency to associate with the material energy more than we should. We are like the Gajendra or the elephant. You know, after taking a bath, we come back and just throw the bath on.
Dust.
Huh?
Through the dust again.
Yeah. So
The material energy more means like because we are working outside and interacting with all these people.
maybe not you, but most of us, we go out only we get bewildered. You know.
No, I also get so it's not
That's what I mean. Yeah. So our focus is not Krishna first; it's my needs first. Yeah. Even though we are practicing, we may be initiated, but it's not there. It's not concrete yet. Because when that sets in, the whole dynamics in your life goes 180, like that. It's But consciously we have to. That's what from the beginning of this prayer you can see how he's saying we have to give it up. Otherwise we cannot. Actually, you can't pray like Gajendra unless you surrender. Yeah, his prayers are very potent because he has surrendered. He has no one but Krishna now. So his prayers are meaningful also. Otherwise, it's just theory. Text 11. Satvena Prati, loving personality of Godhead is realized by pure devotees who act in the transcendental existence of Bhakti Yoga. He is the bestower of uncontaminated happiness and is the master of the transcendental world. Therefore, I offer my respect unto him. So again, so many times Prabhupada quotes this verse. The Lord can only be understood by devotional service. Bhaktyamam abhijananti yavam yaschasti tatvata. So to come to this point, Prabhupada says one must take to the activities of devotional service. So how many percentage of your activities is devotional service?
2%.
Right? Then you know how close I'm getting to Krishna. Because it's a sacrifice, right? I'm shutting out all the material things. I'm doing more and more Krishna conscious activities. So one must take to the activities of devotional service. That means you stop doing material activities. So then Prabhupada says these activities are called sattva or shuddha sattva. In the material world, activities of goodness which are symptomatic of a pure Brahmana are appreciated. So he just appreciates that. But the activities of devotional service are Shuddha Sattva. Now he says appreciated because it doesn't cause problem for others. That's why it is appreciated. And it's a positive thing. Being a Brahmana and his activities helps others also. So therefore it is appreciated. But activities of devotional service are Shuddha Sattva. It's on another platform. It is on the transcendental platform. So therefore, devotional activities, only through that you can understand the Supreme Lord, because he is also on the transcendental platform. And by doing that, you also become transcendentally situated, and therefore you can connect with Krishna. That's how it is. Iron in fire. Okay. Now, in the next paragraph, Prabhupada says devotional service is nice karma. That means it is not creating karma. You can say karma. Okay. Right. So any activities that is on a transcendental platform is nice karma. Okay. Yeah. Now, a lot of time you see the Prabhupada also says that sannyasis who says, all right, we won't do anything because they say that, oh, we'll get nice karma. That means no more karma. But they fall down. Why? Because they are not actually connecting to Krishna. The activities is not devotional. And so therefore they fall down. But once, Prabhupada says, once one is engaged in spiritual activities of Bhakti Yoga, one does not fall down. So you can reflect on your own selves, and then you can ask yourself, what this means is that if I were to venture into materialistic activities, chances are 100% I will fall down. That's what it is. Yeah. The reason for us making mistakes in our progress of devotional life is because we fall down because we are not doing spiritual activities. Okay. One will not fall down if you are doing spiritual activities. As soon as you stop that, good chance. And then Prabhupada gives the solution. Our Krishna consciousness movement is therefore an attempt to engage everyone always in spiritual activity, by which one becomes transcendental to material actions. So whatever material action it seems, it is used in the service of Krishna, so it becomes purified or transcendental. Okay. So in the next paragraph, Prabhupada continues, because he quotes from Gopal Tapani Upanishad the definition of nice karma. Prabhupada says, one acts in nice karma when he fully engages in Krishna conscious activities without material desires to enjoy. Okay, so this is another indication for all of us when we do some activities that we shouldn't have any
material
desires to enjoy. Even if you take away the word material desire, it should be desires to enjoy independently of Krishna, like that. Either here or in the upper planetary systems. So it applies everywhere in the material universe, in the present life or in the future life also. And then he quotes the definition for pure devotion, right? Okay. And when one is free from all contamination and he acts in devotional service under the direction of the spiritual master. So it's always better to work under the direction of the spiritual master to make advancement. So if you feel that you're not making advancement, write to your spiritual master, write to a spiritual authority, ask for help, guidance. Say, look, I'm doing it, I'm not swimming, I'm like swimming upstream.
Am I going up or down?
You're not going anywhere. You're going back sometimes. By such, and then you will get the guidance, or the mercy of Krishna. You have to see when the spiritual master gives you instructions, it is coming from Krishna himself. You got to see that Krishna is speaking through my spiritual master.
So, Prabhu, how do one assess whether you're progressing or not?
desires.
Like I heard in lecture once that if you start seeing your faults more and more, that is Krishna's mercy.
Yeah, that is also true. But mainly you have less and less material desires.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Bharat show, you're saying, well, this is also about Krishna. Right? And then you watch, and then after some time you say, these people don't know what they're talking about. I'm not interested in such nonsense. Yeah. So you read Prabhupada's books instead of watching the ZTV. Right? Okay. Alright, text 12. Nama Santaya Goraya
Namashantaaya Goraya
Buddhaya Gunadharmine
Mudaya Gunadharmine
Nirvisheshaya Samyaya
Nirvisheshaya Samyaya
Namo Jnana Ganaya Cha
Namo Jnanaganaya Cha.
I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Vasudeva, who is all-pervading, to the Lord's fierce form as Lord Narasinghadev, to Lord's form as an animal, Lord Varahadev, to Lord Dattatreya, who preach impersonalism, to Lord Buddha, and to all the other incarnations. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has no material qualities, but who accepts the three qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance, within this material world. I also offer my respectful obeisances onto the impersonal Brahman effulgence. Right. So anyway, it's the same in the Prabhupada repeats similar things in the first paragraph that touched on previously. So we go to the next paragraph, and there Srila Prabhupada very nicely explains about even impersonalists who stress the knowledge feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead want to merge in the effulgence of the Lord. Therefore, here the word Jnana Ganaya indicates that for atheists who disbelieve in the form and existence of the Lord, all these various incarnations appear. Right? This is very nice, the way Prabhupada explains. Because they say, no, I don't believe. Then all these avatars are coming. Well, what to understand? Since the Lord comes to teach in so many forms, no one can say that there's no God. So at least they should accept that. That is his argument. The word Jnana Ganaya is especially used here to refer to those whose knowledge has become solidified by dint of their searching for the Lord through speculative philosophical understanding. So Bhavanam Janmanam Ante. Okay. Superficial knowledge is useless for understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when one's knowledge becomes extremely intense and deep, one understands Vasudeva. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So just don't deal on reading only. You should do seva also. You have to do service to understand. That's a story. I think I've said this also. One time, one man came and asked Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, "Can you explain to me this?" He asked for a question, and then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, "I can't explain now, but if you come to the temple tomorrow at this time, I will help you understand." And he said, "Okay." So the next day he came, and then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, "I'm busy now, but I'll come and meet you." And then he told one of his servant to take care of him. So the servant was saying, "We are cutting some vegetable. Why don't you come and help?" And he said, "Yeah, since I'm waiting." So he went and cut the vegetable. So it was like an hour like that. They were cutting all the vegetable. After that, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came and called him, and he said, "What is your question?" He said, "It's so strange. But while I was cutting the vegetable, I understood the question I wanted to ask you." So sometimes we cannot understand because we are not qualified yet. So we need to do service, serve the devotees, serve Srila Prabhupada like that. So superficial knowledge is useless, Prabhupada says. And then of course he quotes this, if you're just going to be reading books and trying to quote slokas, then Vasudevam Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurla. Means it will take many births until you come to that conclusion that I have to do service. So then another nice thing Srila Prabhupada explains, the word Shantaya indicates the Lord Vasudeva is situated in everyone's heart as the super soul. Okay. Impersonalists, Gyanis realize Vasudeva when they are fully mature in knowledge. Knowledge can only be mature when you do some devotional service. Yeah, otherwise it's not possible. Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
So, all the different forms he takes in the material world, with all spiritual forms. Right?
They're all spiritual. The prayer is he comes, and Prabhupada is explaining, to indicate to people that he exists. He is a person. A lot of time people say there's no God, right? Nowadays, right? They say there's no. Text 13. Kshetranyaya namastubyam
Kshetranyaya namastubyam
Sarvadhyakshaya Shakshine
Sarvadhyakshaya Shakshine
Purushayatmamulaya
Purushaya Namodaya
Mula Prakritaye Namaha.
Mula Prakritaye Namaha.
I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you who are the super soul, the superintendent of everything and the witness of all that occurs. You are the Supreme Person, the origin of material nature and of the total material energy. You are also the owner of the material body. Therefore, you are the Supreme Complete. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So everything belongs to Krishna. In our body, there's two Kshetragya. Right? One is actually the owner of all the Kshetragyas. The other Kshetragya is yourself, who thinks he owns this body. But when time of death, he can't even hold on to it. We may rent and occupy a house, but actually the owner of the house is the landlord. So all our body is on lease only, and it's a non-renewable lease. When the lease runs out, the landlord will come and kick you out. Or he won't kick himself personally, he'll send his agent, material energy, to kick us out. So he continues, we may be allotted a certain type of body as a facility with which to enjoy this material world. But the actual proprietor of the body is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's called Sarvadhyaksha. He can see everything, Sarva. Because everything in the material world works under his supervision. Maya Dhaksha Prakriti Suyate Sacharana. Under his supervision. Okay. This material nature working under my direction, or son of Kunti, is producing all moving and unmoving beings. From Prakriti or material nature comes so many varieties of living entities, including aquatics, plants, trees, insects, birds, animals, human beings, and demigods. Prakriti is the mother and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the father. Aham bija pradapita. So Prakriti gives us the material bodies, but we are part and parcel of Supreme God. We are just covered. Okay. And what happens after that? We are struggling in this material world, thinking I am a plant, I am a tree, I'm an insect, I'm a fish, I'm a demigod, I'm a human. So we are all struggling. So Prabhupada says they're struggling hard for their existence. Because Krishna says this, right? Mana sastan indriyani prakriti stani karshati. Very difficult. Okay. The process is full surrender. This is indicated by the word Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. So again, Prabhupada indicates to all of us that we have to come to the point of full surrender. So it's not something you can, skip. Better to do it sooner than later. Text 14. Sarvendriya gunadrastre.
Sarvendriya gunadrastre.
Sarva pratyaya hetave.
Sarva pratyaya hetave.
Asatha chaya yokthaya.
Asata chaya yogthaya.
Sattabhasaya te namaha.
Saddhabhasaya te namaha.
My Lord, you are the observer of all the objectives of the senses. Without your mercy, there's no possibility of solving the problem of doubts. The material world is just like a shadow resembling you. Indeed, one accepts this material world as real because it gives a glimpse of your existence. So, he's in the heart, so he quotes from that Bhagavad Gita in Sarvasya Shaham Ridi Sanvinishya Matta Smriti Jnana Apanam. So, he makes you remember and forget accordingly. So, in the middle of that purport, he says, the conditioned soul wrongly progresses toward the wrong objective, life after life. And then here's an interesting thing. And he is reminded of that objective, the wrong objective, by you, Krishna. In one life, the conditioned soul desires to progress toward a certain objective, but after his body changes, he forgets everything. Nonetheless, my Lord, because he wanted to enjoy something of this world, you remind him of this in his next birth. Matta smriti jnanam aponam cha. Because the conditioned soul wants to forget you, by your grace you give him opportunities, life after life, by which he can almost perpetually forget you. That's very powerful, no? This is from the Brahma Samhita. Chayeva yasya bhuvanani vivartite. So she covers us. And then we think, okay, I'm this, I'm that, I need to do this, I need to do that. So in that way, in this verse, he says, you are actually directing everyone. Okay. And then in the next paragraph, Prabhupada says, the word sarva pratyaya hetave is explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who says that a result gives one a glimpse of its cause. For example, since an earthen pot is the result of the actions of a potter, any intelligent person can guess how it is acting. As explained in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dikshana Prakriti Suyati Sachara Acharam, the activities of material world suggest that behind them is the superintendence of the Lord. Like, even if they talk about evolution, what are we evolving to? Why even evolve? Why should the living entity evolve to a higher form? What is the reason for evolution?
That they don't say, I think.
Uh-huh.
That they don't say.
They don't say.
this is
So
the
after we
natural
become
state.
human, why are we chasing after something that is temporary? Is that what evolution is all about? To get something temporary? And then when we die. So that's what Prabhupada means by intelligent person, after seeing all this, can guess that something is behind all this. It's a reflection, huh? It's a perverted reflection. Text 15. Namo namaste kilakaranaya.
Namo namaste akhilakaranaya.
Niskaranaya adbhutakaranaya.
Niskaranaya bhutakaranaya.
Sarvagamanaya maharnavaya.
Sarvagamanyaya maharnavaya.
Namo pavargaya parayanaya.
Namo pavargaya paravanaya.
My Lord, you are the cause of all causes, but you yourself have no cause. Therefore, you are the wonderful cause of everything. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the shelter of the Vedic knowledge contained in the Shastras like the Pancharatras and Vedanta Sutra, which are your representations, and who are the source of the Parampara system. Because it is you who can give liberation, you are the only shelter for all transcendentalists. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So, I like the way Srila Prabhupada starts the purport and create, then you lose your power and everything. So Prabhupada says he always remains complete. Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vasishyati. In our experience in the material world, if we have a bank balance of $1 million, as we withdraw money from the bank, the balance gradually diminishes until it becomes nil. However, the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is so complete that although innumerable personalities of Godhead expand from him, he remains the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now that's wonderful, isn't it? How is that possible? It's inconceivable. Alright, it is inconceivable. We cannot understand this thing. In the middle of the next paragraph, Krishna personally says in Bhagavad Gita, Matta Sarvam Pravartate. Everything emanates from me. Everything emanates from Krishna eternally. Okay? Not at one point and stops, eternally. Yet he is same Krishna and does not change. Again, this is Achintya. Okay? Achintya is inconceivable. So don't try to understand the infinite. Therefore, he is the shelter of all transcendentalists who are eager to get free from material bondage. And Prabhupada starts the next paragraph saying, everyone must take shelter of Krishna. Of course, he means that whatever you want, material, because sometimes people will argue, and you can say, why? You can worship. According to Bhagavatam, you can worship. If you have no desire, or you have so much desire, or you desire liberation, just simply worship the Supreme Person, Krishna. Tivrena, very only intelligently, with one pointer. Yajate Purusham Param. So you will get that result. So why? Because Prabhupada writes at the end of that paragraph, for Krishna, supplying what he wants is not at all difficult. Actually, however, one should worship Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for the sake of getting liberation. Yeah, that's all. We shouldn't be asking him for all these material things. If you go to a billionaire and ask him, please give us $1,000, it's a joke, He's like, yeah, sure, take it and go away. And next time you go, he says, I already get. So when you go to billionaire, you ask for at least a few million, 100 million.
Oh, I have one thought in mind.
$1 million?
$1 million thought.
Prabhupada is writing in every purpose,
Yes.
like worship Krishna, and he is giving so many arguments and quotes from Bhagavad Gita and everywhere. I'm just wondering, for Sri Vaishnava, since they follow the Bhagavad Puran, it must be very convincing facts there, right? So that is why they believe that Narayana is supreme.
Didn't go further than explaining that the source of all incarnation is.
They didn't read Bhagavatam.
No, they did, but Ramanujacharya Hall did not go into that level.
He didn't give Bhagavatam.
I mean, they didn't go into that level. Like there's a verse, Ete Chamsakala.
Narayana and Krishna
Yes.
same, they say.
And how about Bhagavad Gita 10.8? That also Krishna says very directly. There are many verses.
Yeah. But they will say that Krishna is not the origin, he is actually coming from Narayana. Yeah. So that's how they understand. And I don't think we need to
Come united.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says everyone will come.
Even we see now, all the Sri Vaishnavas come.
Yeah, even in our temple also, in Dallas and Houston, there are many Sri Vaishnavas who come
Even
and
here
serve.
also.
We also have.
We also have.
They are like totally surrendered. They go out on books, distributing Prabhupada's books.
Oh.
They will take initiation.
Some do, but majority I've seen. Yeah. So you can see, they can see that. They, in fact, the acharyas say the same thing. And I believe one of the acharyas spoke to some devotees in South India, say, why don't you all help us bring people to our temples like that?
Yeah. Velukudu Swami.
Yeah.
He approached some devotee.
But we cannot tell them to do this. We don't let them do deity worship and all because the sampradaya is different. But otherwise, they want to do books. They are so enthusiastic. Yeah. And it's not like they don't have problems, They all have problems also. Just like it's not like they all are pure, They also have problems. Their followers also drink and do all kinds of things, and still, we shouldn't think, Sometimes people think they are better than us, but externally it may appear that way. But I know for a fact they have lots of problems also.
Actually, many they don't have a coffee tea restriction.
Yeah, no coffee, tea. Some of them drinking alcohol also initiated and all. Okay. Huh?
Yeah, I know some
Yeah,
who
so
drink
that's-
alcohol actually.
Yeah.
And when puja comes, they will have that big
Yeah,
tilak
exactly.
and take the shirt off,
Yeah.
and then they will do all things. And I'm like, how are you touching the deity? I know you drink alcohol.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. So they know that, they recognize that. So therefore, you'll see, ISKCON is fascinating for many people. How is that possible? It's because Prabhupada. That's why his purports are important. We should study and enjoy and try to live it. Yeah.
The most thing I think they're going to miss is Gaudata. That's
Yeah,
worst
that's the
thing
main
that can
difference.
happen.
Miss.
I mean, because they want.
Yeah. But they will come back and accept Gaunita
Yeah.
also. That's what I'm saying. Everyone will, because Krishnadas Kaviraj says, in this Kali Yuga, the worship is Gaunita. Yeah. Anyone who denies worshipping Gaunita, he says they are demons. They will go to hell, he says.
Vrindavan Das Thakur keeps on saying that. If you don't accept, I reject you.
Yeah, he says that. Oh, speaking of that, I said yesterday, Maharaj Yudhishthira is a Mahajan, right?
No, yeah, that's what I discussed. It's
And?
not mentioned in the Mahajan list.
Not list, yeah. So, but Krishna, the Prahlada, Shukavyasa, Sanakarikari, Yudhishthira, Panchadasha, Priyavrata, Pritu, Dhruva, Akrura, Uddhava, Mahajana Hena, Nama, Yata, Achesava. Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Prahlad, Shukadev, Vyasa, the four Kumaras headed by Shanaka, the five Pandavas headed by Yudhishthira, Priyavrata, Prithu, Dhruva, Akrura, and Uddhava all addressed as Mahajans.
Oh,
If
Akrura,
Vrindavan
there are
Das
many.
Thakur is saying,
Yes.
even Dhruva Maharaj, otherwise Dhruva is
Because
not
they are all
here.
liberated personalities.
He's also Vyasdev.
Prabhupada is a Mahajan.
Yeah, Prabhupada is a Mahajan.
Yeah, so
definitely.
that's easy to accept.
Yes.
So you have to understand in the context.
And Narad Muni in the previous chapter, he says that Krishna is basically your relative.
Yeah.
He is praising you.
Yes. I mean, therefore in the discussion I said Yudhishthira is Mahajan, and some devotees were not convinced. Yeah.
Also because you just had an expansion of Dharmaraj, right?
You could say like that, but then his means they follow what?
Restriction of Krishna.
They know everything about
They know
Krishna.
the Dharma.
The whole Dharma properly, yes. The
They
rules,
know.
the regulation, how to apply it.
But I'm very much surprised with the Krura,
Yeah,
right? The
because
Krura
he-
did so many things, and then also he's in a list of Mahajans.
Yeah, because they know how to apply the principles of Dharma properly. Whatever you have heard and read is just Leela.
So it's just a temporary thing for him.
It's a Leela.
He'll come back.
There's so many great personalities.
Yes.
All are Mahajan.
Yes. So we just follow that.
Just
So
follow
our
the
Mahajans,
dimensions.
our Parampara, Guru Parampara is
Yeah,
our
Mahajans,
Mahajans.
All of them are big.
Anyway, I just wanted to highlight because sometimes we have this notion and it's so restrictive in understanding certain things.
And we just thought, okay, you guys said the word instead of Bhishma, you said Yudhishthira. That's what we just thought.
But now you know, no? Because someone mentioned something, just clicked. Yeah. Text 16. Gunarani channa chidusma paya.
Gunarani channa chidusmaya.
Akshobha vispujita manasaya.
Tattva vispujita manasaya.
Skanya bhavena vivachitagama.
Naiskarmya bhavena vivachitagama.
Swayam prakashaya namaskaromi.
Swayam prakashaya namaskaromi.
My Lord, as the fire in Arani wood is covered, you and your unlimited knowledge are covered by the material modes of nature. Your mind, however, is not attentive to the activities of the modes of nature. Those who advance in spiritual knowledge are not subject to the regulative principles directed in the Vedic literatures. Because such advanced souls are transcendental, you personally appear in their pure minds. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Proper quotes from the Chatusloki. No? Esham evanukampartam aham ajnanajam tanam ashayam yatma bhavastu jnanadipena vashvata. Jnanadeepa is the fire that's within the arani wood, Prabhupada says. In those days, the sages, they don't use lighter and all. We have our lighter technology. So you can see in Kali Yuga, the technology goes more grossly. In the previous, the technology is subtle through mantra. So the fire of knowledge is ignited and can only be ignited by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How? When one takes Him within one's heart. How do you take into one heart? You have to start surrendering. How to surrender? Service. Starts with Mangala Arati. Spiritual master, when it starts at the first thing. Yeah? And of course, Prabhupada quotes that Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindayo, famous verse. Who's that?
King Kulashekara.
Amrish Maharaj.
Ambrish
Ambarish Maharaj.
Yeah.
I was thinking of him.
Yeah. If one takes seriously the lotus feet of Krishna who is seated within one's heart, the Lord eradicates all ignorance. By the torch of knowledge, right? Jnana. So you don't need to be educated or anything like that. You don't need any of that. You don't need any degree or whatever. Okay, just do service purely with sincere effort. The Lord will give you all the enlightenment from within your heart. Then of course the famous verse Yasyasti Bhakti Bhagavati Akinchane Sarve Gunas Tatra Samastaste Suraha. Qualities of all the demigods are automatically manifested in that person who is worshipping Krishna. Okay? Very nice. Huh? Jnana Deepena Vashvata. Text 17. Madrik Prapanna Pasupasha Vimokshanaya Muktaya Bhuri Karunaya Namolayaya
Muktaya Bhuri Karunaya Namolayaya
Samshena Sarvatanubrin Manasi Pratita
Samsena Sarvatanubrin Manasi Pratita
Pradyadrishe Bhagavate Priyate Namaste
Pradyadrishe Bhagavate Priyate Namaste.
Since an animal such as me has surrendered unto you, who are supremely liberated, certainly you will release me from this dangerous position. Indeed, being extremely merciful, you incessantly try to deliver me. Indeed, being extremely merciful, you incessantly try to deliver me. Means he's always trying to deliver me. By your partial features, Paramatma, you are situated in the hearts of all embodied beings. You are celebrated as direct transcendental knowledge and you are unlimited. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada quotes from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti. Brihate Namaste is actually referring to Brihate Shri Krishnaya. There are many tattvas such as Vishnu tattva, Jiva tattva and Shakti tattva. But above everything is the Vishnu tattva, which is all pervading. I also read that sometimes, Srila Prabhupada writes, that sometimes the jiva can be promoted to within the universe to help out in the post of Shiva.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes, surprise.
Yeah, that was rare, but not always, because Shiva Tattva is not Jiva Tattva.
Yeah.
But he says that sometimes. So I was just remembering when I read the word Tattva, then I remembered what you asked.
So you're saying that
It's a
Jiva
post.
can temporarily be.
Temporary, yeah. But he doesn't become Shiva. Yeah.
So that means Shiva is not available that time. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. For some reason.
Yeah, we don't know.
We do not know, yeah.
Just like if I be short time. So
Yeah, possible. Yeah. For short time or for that duration of the
Maybe
universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kalpa.
A question on the previous verse when you mentioned starting with Mangalarti. So the emphasis on Mangalarti is due to,
Due to
I mean, what is the primary reason?
that you go and declare that I am a servant of Krishna.
Seriously,
Pray to spiritual master.
Yeah. And
But there are
then,
so many other artis also, right?
no, but that's the beginning, first arti.
Time of the day is
Mangalarti is always special.
Brahma Muhurta. That's because that's also part of your austerity.
And if somebody is traveling, they can do Mangalarti in the mind.
Yes.
Yeah. At home.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least.
I think if you can't come, as I mentioned, you do it at home. You know, some people cannot get up, but at least before the sun rises, do a short arti, prayers to the spiritual master. I'm a fallen person. You please take me out of this ocean of birth and death.
What's the latest one can do Mangalarti?
Latest?
Time limits. Like, you can't do it 7 o'clock. It's too late. No?
Before sunrise.
Before sunrise.
Here,
Sunrise is 7:30 or
Yeah, so before sunrise.
So in the
I
sunrise,
mean,
it's better than,
you know, so yeah, exactly, right. But fix a time. Fix a time.
at least before 6. I think.
The point is you have to be regulated. So fix a time. So if you say 6 o'clock you want to get and do arti, yeah, okay, fine. But make sure you do it every day.
Don't miss.
Or like in your temple it's 5:30.
5:30.
Okay, then you should do 5:30 at your home also.
You should try 100% to be there.
Yeah, try.
If not, at least 6.
Unless you work late, right? Yeah, then that's a different category. But at least get up before that and chant your rounds, you know. If you can't do arti or whatever.
I mean, my kids are grown up, but for many kids who are growing up, homeworks run till midnight, and then parents it will become a challenge.
Yeah. But I'm not saying you do it. I'm saying you have to plan your life like that so that you can do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, coming back from Mangalarti, he says, right, Ekam Shena Stito Jagat, with a single fragment, pervade and support this entire universe. So why do you want to have all this understanding of my opulence? So actually he's maintaining this material world through his expansion of Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarasta. So it's just amazing. We cannot really understand. So here the word Brihate Sri Krishnaya, so that is brought by Vishwanath Chakravarti. So he says Bhagavate Brihate means on to Sri Krishna. And Prabhupada earlier on he says Bhagavate Brihate, everyone is Bhagavan, everyone possesses opulence, but Krishna is Brihan Bhagavan, the possessor of unlimited opulence. Okay.
So
then
somebody
there's-
may read that sentence and start saying, "Oh, I am also Bhagwan."
Yeah, but there's a difference now. One is superior, the other one is small.
Infinitesimal.
Anam.
Okay, then he quotes the famous verse from 10th canto. This is by the prayers of the sages when they are meeting in the Kurukshetra. When Krishna, gopis, everyone comes. And so at that time the sages, after the sacrifice have been performed for the eclipse, and before they go, they come and worship Krishna. So this is one of the prayers. I believe it's by the sage to be worshipable, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to bathe, rather than to meet men of transcendental knowledge, there is to be considered like a crow or an ass.
It's a crow because the book says cow.
Cow.
It's a crow.
No, it's called.
Cow.
It's cow.
Sorry,
Cow.
my vision is not so good. Like a cow or an ass.
Gokara.
Yeah, Gokara. Practically everyone, therefore, is a Pashu, an animal, and everyone is attacked by the crocodile of material existence. Not only the king of elephants, but every one of us has been attacked by the crocodile and is suffering the consequences like that. Right? Only Krishna can deliver us from this material existence. So Prabhupada is getting to the crux. Indeed, he is always trying to deliver us. Ishvara sarvabhutanam riddeshe Arjuna tishtati. He's always trying to direct our wanderings. He's within our hearts and is not at all inattentive. Even when we are listening, we are inattentive. Okay. Krishna is never inattentive.
So in one of the lectures, one of the Maharajas said that when we desire something, immediately demigods take the clue and say, okay, now we have to fulfill the desires.
No,
for this
when you desire the Supreme Lord, Paramatma, then sanctions first. If he doesn't sanction, the demigods don't.
Will not come into play. Paramatma orders them.
Yeah. The Paramatma in your heart is also the Paramatma in the
Their heart.
demigods. So they will know through the Paramatma.
direct connection.
That technology is amazing.
We
Better
can.
than what you have.
Demigods won't accept our orders. Basically.
Yeah.
WhatsApp.
It's better than all those WhatsApp. WhatsApp goes down occasionally. These are never first. But anyway, this is amazing. Huh? It's not at all inattentive.
Is this true for devotees or for everyone? That
Everyone.
Krishna sanctions immediately as you desire, Krishna sanctions.
In general, this is for everyone. Yeah. For devotees, special. If they are really special.
Samam Sarvabhuteshu says, right? Samam Sarvabhuteshu Namedesto Sthina Priya. The second line is for the devotees.
Yes.
The second half of the slogan. Ye Vedanti Tumam
Yeah.
Bhaktya Maitati. What's it?
They are for bhaktas is
Special.
Paramatma works for generally for general population. But devotee who is very special, then the Lord takes care of it.
Krishna comes in.
So when we recently went to see a farm community, I was asking two gentlemen, white people, to chant. One person wanted to chant, the other person is saying no, and he's trying to suppress the other person. There's Paramatma in both hearts, but working differently.
Yeah, that's right.
No, he may be overriding his Paramatma.
Well, according to how pious you are, the Lord allows them to take up certain
Respond.
things. He doesn't force. He always gives the opportunity. So the final decision is ours
Yeah.
to take. That's why it's free will. So even though the person could chant, he's not pious enough.
So somebody else is talking
Yes.
in.
Right. His only aim is to deliver us from material life. It is not that he becomes attentive to us only when we offer prayers to him. Okay, it's not like that. Even before we offer our prayers, he incessantly tries to deliver us. He's never lazy in regard to our deliverance. Therefore, this verse says, Bhuri Karunaya Namo Layaya. It is the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord that he always tries to bring us back home, back to Godhead. God is liberated and he tries to make us liberated. But although he's constantly trying, we refuse to accept his instructions. So then Prabhupada says, Sarvadama, give up all your nonsense. Nonetheless, he has not become angry. Therefore, he is described here as Bhuri Karunaya, unlimitedly merciful in delivering us from this miserable material condition of life and taking us back home, back to God. So he is merciful. It's not like he will condemn you in purgatory forever. No such thing.
Eternal.
Yeah, there's no such thing as eternally in hell. No. Unless you're such a nonsense, then he perpetually casts you in the lowest species, but not that he will not take you when you rectify. Right? That's a better deal than the other one, right?
Forget radio.
Yes.
So, Prabhu, in that question, desires. So, how does Maya come into play, and when does Maya come into play? Like Maya can push you down, or it will punish you if you have material desires.
Not like
Sometimes,
that.
or
Your
it will
material,
fulfill your desires.
see, your material desires could be, if you go through the karma kanda way, then it is what do you call, it is sanctioned to enjoy certainly. But of course, you're doing some austerities for it. Okay? But if you are going to do things that are not according to scripture, that is vikarma, then you will have to suffer the consequences in a drastic way. But in all cases, whether it's karma kanda or whether it's vikarma, there is reactions. Okay, there is karma involved. One is very bad consequences, one is not as bad the consequences. You get to enjoy, but then because of your desire, you have to come back and take birth again. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So that is what is the role of Maya. Basically, Maya, you are saying, is equivalent to your karma. Like whatever reaction you are getting is because...
That is material energy. Karma, material energy will understand what your karma is. Maya is always there. Based on your karma, based on your desires, and based on this Paramatma, the material energy understands what kind of body you will get.
So 13th chapter.
Just then she will act.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is Purusha Prakriti Stoi.
So,
Prakriti.
Bhunte Prakriti Jan Guna, Karanam Guna
Sadasya.
Sarasat Yonisu Janmasu. Yeah. According to what you associate with, you will get a certain type of body. Okay, text 18. Atmatmajapta grihavitta janeshu shaktir
Atmatmajapta grihavitta janeshu shaktir
Dusprapanaya gunasanga vivajitaya
Dushprapanaya gunasanga vivarjitaya
Muktatmadhi swaridaye paribhavitaya
Muktamati swardaye paribhavataya
Jnanatmane bhagavate nama ishvaraya
Jnanatmane bhagavate nama ishvaraya.
My Lord, those who are completely freed from material contamination always meditate upon you within the cores of their hearts. You are extremely difficult to attain for those like me who are too attached to mental concoction, home, relatives, friends, money, servants, and assistants. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, uncontaminated by the modes of nature. You are the reservoir of all enlightenment, the Supreme Controller. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So here are a few things that Gajendra is saying that makes it difficult to worship Krishna. When you become too attached to speculative knowledge, attached to home, Bharatvarsha, Jindabad.
That is the most difficult actually.
And then
Gurhamandakupam.
yeah, and then home, relatives, my relatives, friends, don't want to give up the social life. Therefore, there are so many nice devotees who don't take up initiation because of this problem. They cannot give up their relatives, they cannot give up their friends. What is all this thing?
Sorry.
I thought it's all confirmation.
Yeah, it is confirmation, but it's also somebody pinging.
And then money, Yeah, this is one of the greatest things. They said that when someone works and earns the money, when they are in a situation where someone is going to kill them for the money, they will not even give the money. Money is sweeter than honey. So for them, the energy, the blood they use to earn the money becomes more dear than their life itself, according to the scripture. So, don't become attached to money. And servants, or having servants and assistants like that. So for them, Servants and assistants means they don't want to serve. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why we have to learn to take up service and serve. And then we become more and more, we give up the false ego, wanting to be served. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, uncontaminated by the modes of nature. So the Lord is never contaminated. Okay? We should never think material energy affects Him. Okay? Apapa Viddham, He is never contaminated. Okay? Apapa Viddham. Guna Sangha Vivarjitaya. Okay? Never contaminated by the modes. Okay. So people think he is contaminated by the mode. So the Lord quotes in the 9th chapter, Avajananti Mutta Manusim Tanumashtrita. Because they always think, yeah, he's covered, he's like me. Who does he think he is? Like Shishupal and all these characters, right? So therefore we have to be very careful. And that's another reason why you have to constantly read the Bhagavatam. Because then this will reinforce the point that he is the Supreme Lord. I am nobody. Therefore, the more you read and become grateful, then you will appreciate Krishna's position nicely. Yeah? So, Prabhupada says, therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be understood only by the Muktatma, the liberated soul. So we have to take shelter of a Muktatma. And they can also help us understand Krishna. Only the liberated person can constantly think of Krishna also. Muktatma vi swaridaye paribhavitaya. Such a person is the greatest of all yogis.
So, however, when one takes strict instruction from the spiritual master, it might be nothing to do with Srimad Bhagavatam. It could be nothing. It could be like, go milk the cows.
Yeah, whatever. Like if you read Krishna book, Krishna was told to go and collect firewood.
Yeah.
And so he went, and then there was a storm and terrible weather. He could have run back, but he went and collected and then Sandipani Muni was so touched. He cried. So you were so young, and then you went into the middle of forest and lions, tigers, and yet you were focused in doing the service I asked you all to do. So it is therefore important. Whatever the spiritual master says, it's for our benefit actually. In the beginning, we may not see that, and that's our foolishness, but we have to quickly come to a point and understand he is Shakshat Daridvaina Samastra Shashti. He is guiding me back to God here. Whatever he says, I will do. Kind of difficult, but that's required.
But then some of the devotees who are engaged in that kind of service, they do not have time to do even Srimad Bhagavatam. Or
Maybe not, but then they are getting full knowledge,
By
the service, yeah.
The two verses of the
Yeah.
10,
10 and 11.
12.
Jnana-deepayana and Yesam Satata Yuktanam Bhajitam Vidya. Because he'll give the ability to continue to go back to God. You have fulfilled once you please your spiritual master, that's it. You're back to God here. So that's what we all have to aim to please.
Many disciples got benedictions like that, no? Like the Prabhupada gave benediction to the devotees who made the Chaitanya Charitamrita within 2 months. Rameshwar and company, all of it go back to Godhead.
Like Janan Prabhu,
And so many of them.
he was not a preacher, I think. He used to drive, give
Yeah,
all his money to
yeah.
Prabhupada.
But Prabhupada really, really liked him a lot. Yeah.
And one time one devotee told me that Bhakti Saraswati Thakur fell in the ocean or something, and one of his disciples saved him. So he said, no, you'll never drown in the material ocean again. So he's gone.
No, another time when after he gave a program, then there were people who wanted to come and kill him.
Oh yeah.
So
That one person.
Keshav Pragya Maharaj, he looks a bit like Bhaktisiddhanta. So he told, I will wear your clothes and then I will go and you can go. And so that's the. So he was worried, Bhaktisiddhanta was worried that do service for Guru, and if the Guru is pleased, you can go back to Godhead. So don't feel that you are beyond that. You should always do service. The whole idea is not to take service from this verse, right? Servant, one who wants servants and assistant means you're taking service. You don't want to take service. Our entire parampara is wanting to do serve. So that's what our mood should be like that. All right, text 19. Yam dharma kamartha vimukti kama
Yam dharma kamartha vimukti kama
bhajanta istam gatim apnuvanti
bhajanta isham gatimapnuvanti
kim chashishorati abhideham avyayam
kinchasisorati abhideham avyayam
karotu medabradayo vimokshanam.
karotu medabradayo vimokshanam.
After worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, those who are interested in the four principles of religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, obtain from Him what they desire. What then is to be said of other benedictions? Indeed, sometimes the Lord gives a spiritual body to such ambitious worshippers. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unlimitedly merciful, bestow upon me the benediction of liberation from this present danger and from the materialistic way of life. So when they approach the Lord, He can sometimes give them liberation also, like Dhruva Maharaj. So therefore, again Srila Prabhupada quotes the verse, Akama Sarva Kama. So whatever you have desire, it is best to worship Krishna. Whatever your position, Prabhupada says, whether one demands no material profit or material profit or ultimately liberation, one should offer his obedient devotional service to the Lord, and one will get what he desires. Understand his mood, and you read that Krishna is so kind. Ye yatamam prabhadente tam sataiva bhajamyam. So if you want to make money also, just come for Mangala. Yeah.
Sarvakamo.
Whatever even an ordinary entity wants, the Lord reciprocates. Krishna gives. Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, and He gives that which is desired by the living entity. Of course, when Krishna gives, He gives it the way He will give. Okay? That you can understand. And then in the next paragraph, Prabhupada says, after quoting the verse, even such a devotee as Dhruva Maharaj wanted the material benediction of a kingdom greater than that of his father. Although he received a spiritual body, he also got the kingdom, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not disappoint anyone who takes shelter of His lotus feet. Therefore, since Gajendra, king of the elephants, had surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead to get free from the present danger and indirectly from the present danger of materialistic life, why should the Supreme Personality of Godhead not fulfill his desire? So not only material desires he'll give, he'll also give prema bhakti. Yes.
Prabhu, now here Prabhupada is saying, although he received a spiritual body, Dhruva Maharaj, he also got the kingdom. Actually, he first got the kingdom for 36,000 years. 36,000 years. And then he got the spiritual body.
He got, well, this, what he means is he got the spiritual body.
Right. But Prabhupada,
You are trying to say at a certain time, what Prabhupada is saying, he got both. His point is he got to enjoy the kingdom as well as spiritual emancipation. Yeah.
In fact, he is living in spiritual world.
Yeah.
Even though
he also said, right, he didn't want anything. And then the Lord said, don't worry, you at the proper time you'll remember to come back. So which happens. Yeah. So ultimately he never committed any sin after that. So he is already liberated. Jivan Mukta. So Uchyate. So therefore he's already got a spiritual body. Everything is used in the service of Krishna. So that's the other reason why we do not burn the body of acharyas or great devotees. We preserve them because it's spiritual life. Like Ramanujacharya also, his body is preserved. He said, "Don't burn. Just put all this around me, and then you can always worship me. I'm
I
always."
went in Srirangam and I saw they apply all this
Yeah, I see.
camphor and sandalwood. Even till day, the body is still there.
Body is there.
Yeah.
it's there, 1,000 years.
Ramajachari body is there.
In
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go and see.
किधर
It
है?
is Srirangam temple.
Srirangam.
Right next there is a small room, and you can actually go and see.
Really?
Abhilash Maharaj told me, so I went and saw.
Yeah, I saw.
महाराज की यात्रा में महाराज लेके गए थे
All right, we'll stop here.
So Srila Prabhupada talks about cow killing and all that. Now it is happening through a very different way. Now the vegan movement is catching on, and Impossible Burger and Beyond Meat, they claim that
That's his body,
200,000
real
cows have been saved already because of vegan burgers. They're selling to all these burger chains.
It really doesn't matter. We should continue preaching.
स्टोन से बन गई
I mean, it's nice to hear that, but most important thing is we have to help. By taking the milk of the cow and offering to Krishna, the cow benefits also, right? Yeah.
But we, that is true for us. But the vast majority of cows that are being killed will not be
Yeah,
useful to
but
anyone.
you have to be careful because look at the way